I'm waiting for it to flip over. Okay, that side's good. And YouTube's picking it up. Just checking the gate. Make sure that we are live. And we are live. Good morning, everybody out there in TV land. I am your host with the most, Ranger J, 1999, part of the RC crew. And welcome to another edition of the Jedi Academy. This is where we bring the best and the brightest of content creators, and we're here to talk about Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. And then we mess it all up by sprinkling in a little bit of RC madness. That's what we do here. And we're glad to have you. If you're new to the show, this is a straight Q&A show. This is your chance to ask the experts about the game. You can ask any kind of question you like, whether it be fun or serious, about the game in general, about what your thoughts are about anything, or if you need help with anything. That's just kind of how it works. So, and if you do have a question, all you need to do is put your question in the chat. We only ask you that you put question in front of your statement so that we can scoop it up. We use Nightbot, and that helps us scoop it up. So if you're out there and you want to get a question answered, go ahead and put question in front of your statement, and that'll help us scoop it up. And remember, we try to get through all the questions that we can, but sometimes we get inundated with more questions than we can handle. So if you'd like your question answered, one, be here early, and then two, get your question in now so we can get these sorted out and get these to all our wonderful guests. That being said, let me introduce my co-host with the hurricane didn't get him. Oh boy, the fluffiness is real with this one. The troll extraordinaire, Dr. Finn, medicine woman. It's too early in the morning for this, Finn.
You told me not to say it, so I'm just imitating.
I don't like you. Just ruined my whole day. Also joining us, let's go through the rest of our wonderful guests. He popped in first and survived, Dorian. We've got from Carolina, somewhere down there in then Southern Carolina, we got good old Maurice.
Good day.
Oh, wow, he said good day. Have you turned British?
Good day.
Good day to you, sir. Oi.
Yeah, I'll be off my phone in just a few minutes, guys. I'll be home shortly.
I said good day.
I said good day. Goodbye. You get nothing, Finn. Also joining us, you know her, you love her. She loves Jedi a little too much, in my opinion. But you know what? We all love what we love, and that's of course the Jedi Master herself, Jedi Master Dastra.
Good morning.
When are you gonna start hanging out with me in the dark side?
Never.
Oh, come
You
on.
could come to the light side
That's
though.
boring. Y'all just sit around and talk and philosophize. Let's go drink. Let's go tear some crap up. That's what we do in the dark side. No.
You can do your own thing. That's okay.
Fine. I'll have all the fun. Just gonna get some strippers and hang out with you, Dasher. But I guess you just want to hang out with Yoda and talk the Force. So that's fine. One day I will corrupt you. It's gonna happen. Maybe we'll get her down to Disney World, Finn, and then I can really corrupt her. Be like, join the dark side. We have vodka. Also someone who you guys know and love, all the way from Colorado, somewhere up there in them Rocky Mountains. We've got the one and only Scissor Man, a.k.a. Warrior from Warrior Presents. What's going on, Warrior?
Rocky Mountain.
Hi, Colorado.
What's up, y'all?
Good old John Denver. Love that song. People are out there in chat wondering what the hell we're singing, Warrior. Like, what's John Denver? Like,
that John Denver's full of crap.
All right, so we've got our panel. Maybe we'll get Team Money or somebody else to join in. I don't know what's going to happen. It's craziness here. It's crazy to say. Meh. So go ahead and get your questions in while we're getting those all scooped up and collected. I like to go through the panel, except Finn, and ask what's on your mind. We had some stuff come out this week. We had the road ahead. We had the Q&A. Some stuff that was going on. We'll start with you, good old Maurice. What is on your mind about the game?
Well, not a whole lot. It's a whole bunch of wait and see. Like, what's going to be in the 5th 501st? How are these relics actually going to play? How many materials are you going to need to make these relics? What are the stat boosts of these relics? Like, what's the GP of these relics? Like, there's just so many unknowns that I'm kind of in a holding pattern, just kind of hoarding and waiting to see.
Yeah. I think everybody's a lot like that. All right, Jedi Master Dasher, what's on your mind, young lady?
Well, the Q&A dropped a lot of goodies. I mean, I thought they answered and dropped a lot of good information. Like, I was kind of surprised. Usually you get like one or two tidbits, but they actually gave out some good stuff. I mean, like one of the ones I'm excited for is that they did confirm that they will plan to bring back the different modes for Grand Arena. So like 3v3. I'm really excited for that one. And I know people that love ships, they're excited that they'll get to use their ships in one of them too. And then we're gonna be able to sim the tank raid. Yay! Eventually,
Someday, possibly, not
I
really.
thought that was kind of funny. But I guess, that raid has been out a while, so a lot of people are pretty much just zeroing it anyways. And then, but in general, I mean, what's coming though is what's cool too. I mean, the General Skywalker, of course, all that. What do you call it? It's not confirmed, but high probability that he's gonna arrive.
I know, we're all thinking we're thinking Jedi. Watch it be like Jedi Luke, and we're like, oh no!
Hey, if it's any Jedi, I'm fine with that. But shoot, it could be like a new clone first for all we know.
I know.
Just to throw us off. Like, everyone's expecting one thing. They could just do a 180 and throw something else out first. Like, oh, you guys weren't ready for this? Oops.
Oh no. You thought it was last side.
Because one of the things I saw in the Q&A when there was a question about summons, and an answer was that they were going to have a character that summons an object. So I was thinking, like, a character like a clone that they could summon a weapon, like one of their guns or a gunship for all we know. Like, it could be something in that.
That's an AT-ET.
Because we know a new clone
I'm sorry, AT-MT.
coming. So who knows? Yeah.
Yep, we're getting the six-legged walker. It's coming. It's just going to cover the whole screen. You're not going to be seeing anything. You just see a big explosion. So, all right. Scissorman. Oh, Scissorman, what's on your mind, sir?
So, first off, they dropped a ton of hints in there, and they did some basic confirming of some things. They're definitely doing vehicles. They're working on vehicles. There's more clones in the work. There is another Malik-style event that they're almost finished with. I mean, there's some really cool stuff in there. They also said that there's something more coming with the Geos, for a fact, because they asked if he had any more like clues for the future, and he said something about the hive, that the bees were going to come back out of the hive. Come on, there's some more Geos coming out. I don't know what's going on, but there's more something happening with that, because I mean, he literally used the Geo hive mentality thing. Hive mind thing, yeah. So there's that. The vehicles is cool, more ships, blah blah blah. So I think it was a good way for them to drop some hints and clues about the future and get people excited without actually giving up too much. And remember, everything they talked about is over the next year. Okay, they have a minimum of a year-long plan, and they wanted to drop hints on everything they're working on. And everything they're working on is things that they can't release between, for now and the next year. So some of it we'll see in November. That's the soonest, is November. And it sounds like Lightside Geonosis in November.
You think November? I was thinking end of October.
No, they said November.
Did they really?
Said, we want to give you more information, but we're going to leave that for the end of November, or we're going to leave that for November.
When you read that, it's a little confusing though, because it sounds like they were saving the road ahead post for November because they're already expecting the Geos in October. That was the way I was reading it. The wording is a little weird on what they were saying on that one.
Right, but
Soon TM.
Soon TM, yeah.
The thing was nice because it ultimately showed, a lot of information that it's been a while. The community's been pretty starved with information. side note, if you guys are going to play that event this morning, the Ewok event where you got to go against the ATST, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then there's 2 levels. One level you have to use your Ewoks. The second level you can take in anyone. On the second level, take in the Sith Marauder and throw the Sith Marauder sabers at the ATST. Funniest thing I have ever seen in my life.
Really?
At this point. Absolutely hilarious. It's like he's doinking them upside the head. It's freaking hilarious. He throws his sabers like a madman vertically, and then the thing shakes when it hits him. It's super funny. It's super funny.
I will do that right now.
One speed. I got to record it. I'm going to try and record it if I can, because it's the funniest thing I ever seen. Sith Marauder sabers going upside the slappy head of an ATSD. Hilarious.
I just want to see this. Now you got me all curious, like, really? It's very funny, warrior. Just throwing Marauder in here. See what happens. All right. I think we got a lot of questions coming in. Ooh, doggy. I think we're ready. Finn's ready. The panel's ready. We've all had our coffee and croissant. So let us begin. Finn.
I had pancakes. I went to Cracker Barrel.
Finn, what did I tell you about eating pancakes? So we're trying to get ready for this marathon.
I have. Today is my last day. Today's my last day before.
You said that before, Finn. You know, I'm getting out the.
No. I've actually been eating really well up until today. Today I'm getting pancakes, and then tomorrow I start with my gym routine again. Mm-hmm. So there's a plan here because my projects are finally starting to clear up. So I actually have time to consistently go to the gym now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I've even been on the lunch streams. So see.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's that have to do with you eating pancakes?
Oh, it's my day before starting the gym. I had to celebrate, so I ate pancakes.
Awful. All right, Finn, why don't you do some questions and stuff? I'm monitoring chat, monitoring everything. Why don't you pick whoever you want? I'm done. I'm ashamed.
All right, so let's start with
so Mr. ashamed of you, Finn.
Let's start with Scissorman Warrior. So question from Sith Lord 72 says, I just finished my 501st to gear 12. Should I start panic farming Shakti?
Yes. If you've got all your clones to gear 12, if you've got all your clones to gear 12, you need to start getting Shakti. And Shakti's now farmable, so there's no reason that she should not be on your plate if that's a team that you're developed out. So that's a yes.
Thanks, Warrior. Now son of a just got it a 5-star, and the Warrior's like, Panic Ranger. Butthole.
Well, you have like a month before GOTV comes out.
Leave me alone. I don't like Warrior anymore.
All right. Next question for good old Maurice. And the question is from Deadpool Kyle. And his question is, do you think a Blitz mode like MSF would bring some excitement back into the game?
Was this for me?
Yes.
Sorry, I stood up for a second. I heard it. Okay.
Are you the other one now? Not good old Maurice. What was your other persona?
It's Tia Old Maurice now.
So no, I had to get up for a second, but I'm back. Yeah.
He's doing exercises.
yes, I'm working off my pancakes.
Hooray, more pancakes!
But no, it's will it bring more excitement? No, because we've got plenty to do now. Like, when would you do the Blitz mode?
Whenever
I don't. When would you do that? Would you do that in between your Territory Wars offense and your Grand Arena, then your Tank Raid, and then your Sith Raid? Would you just squeeze in your Blitz mode in between there? I don't know. Would it be exciting for some? Yes. Would it be exciting for me personally? No. It's too much to do in the game already for me.
So really quick, because I know you played, can you explain what the Blitz mode is for people that don't play MSF or haven't played it?
Well, Blitz mode was, for those of you guys that played this game, it was really similar to the tournaments we had here. Kind of similar. Kind of the same structure. You get to play an infinite amount. Basically, you just play and play and play and play. And if your characters, it's been a while, so if the chat still plays, do correct me. This is not played. Warrior plays well too, but you basically get to use all your characters over and over and over again, and then you just play to your little heart's content. I don't remember if you lost a character, if you had to refresh them with some sort of currency, or if there was, I think there might have been just a straight timer on it, to be honest. Like, you get to use this team, and you can't use those characters for another hour or two or something like that. It's a continuous game mode. It would be good It'd be good for the game. Just because I don't personally like it doesn't mean that other people won't find it useful. It'd be a great way to practice. So, like, that's one thing we lack in this game is a way to practice without penalizing yourself in Grand Arena or your guild in TW. So in that regard, it would be good. Just a totally self-paced.
Galactic War, if they would just modify our Galactic War to be something normalized.
Yeah.
That's science. That's science.
Right. And really quick, guys, if you guys have questions, make sure you type it in the chat and put question at the front of it so it gets picked up by good old Nightbot, and we will add your questions to the queue. Again, it's kind of first come, first serve, so the quicker you ask your questions now, the better chance you have to getting it done before our 2 hours is up. So keep those questions coming.
Yep, it's like Finn with eating pancakes. First come, first served.
No, I ordered mine, so it was okay. You're not going to eat pancakes off my plate.
You don't know that.
I'm not a sharer of food. No. If I order a plate, I'm eating my plate. I don't expect to share.
You heard it here, folks. Finn doesn't like to share.
I order what I want to eat. I hate the people picking off other people's plate. It's not something. No, sorry.
But what if
I am the plate picker. I'm coming for a piece of that pancake, whether you like it or not. Just coming.
Well, I'm never having food with good old Maurice. Or at least not pancakes.
Hey man, how's that taste?
All right. For Jedi Master Adastra. So Adastra, question from Darsion, 1972. Says, I'll be unlocking Wat next TB. Any advice on how to mod him and what team to use him on?
Oh, congrats. I also will unlock Wat. I'm super excited. I'm like theory crafting with people and seeing people using him on so many teams. I can't wait. A common mod setup I see is pretty much just speed. You just want him to go really fast so he can get that tech going for everyone. And then, so like a speed set would be your main one. And then your other set, you have a few choices. Like you can do a potency one because of his basic, or you can do a tenacity one to just kind of help protect him from debuffs because you want him to live to continue to help your team. So you could also even do a health set. Basically like the secondary set, whatever you have available, like just to help with his survivability pretty much. So like for the cross, since he's not a damage dealer, you don't need any offense on him. So for the cross, you can just do the tenacity cross or potency depending on your preference. I feel like tenacity would be more beneficial for the whole protecting him from debuffs. Again, he can slot on various teams, so you kind of just make him an all-around good character that can survive in multiple like environments, so to speak. Because again, with the team comps, so you have all the separatist ones, of course. Like you can throw him with General Grievous. It really ups that team a lot. You replace Droid usually, and having him there, it just, it really changes that team a little. But if you want to get away from that, there's a lot of experimental ones. Like good old Maurice would love is that Newt Dooku Jango. That he talks about that one a lot. You throw Wat with that one, you could. And basically Wat, you can just supercharge a lot of teams. Like there's seems like it's endless experimentation combos because of all that tech that he has. So you just put him with a tank and you just make that tank taunt forever almost if they have the protection and all that. So you can, if you don't have the separatists, because you can also throw him with, again, anything with Newt, Dooku, Grievous, if you want to keep separatists. But otherwise, you can throw him with like scoundrels. You can throw him with, I don't know. There's just so many possibilities. It's kind of fun.
Just don't say Jedi. Not the Jedi.
Characters. Hey, I was gonna only make one comparison.
No.
Utility character similar to how Hermit Yoda can plug into a lot of teams.
How dare you?
That was the only comparison I was gonna do.
Now what? If you have a tank and he puts that buff.
What? Hermit Yoda, C3PO, all on the same team.
Dare you?
Mace Windu would taunt technically with Wat, yeah, if he got that buff.
That's true.
Yeah, because tank, any tank tag, and yeah, exactly. See, Maurice has it. You could have a lot of fun.
Not, I won't have fun with Mace, but I'm thinking of some of the other tanks in the game.
I'll have fun with you.
Flo has a tank
Flo's
tag.
tanky, yeah.
Jedi Guardian has a tank tag. Like all these random characters that got a tank tag. So it's nice when characters like this can expand on that. It's like, oh, you don't have a natural taunt. Well, here, let's force a taunt.
I look forward to Wat and Jedi Guardian videos from you.
If I don't see those,
I shall do it.
Like, oh look, Jedi Master Dasha.
I'll make an unstoppable team.
Oh my god. All right, enough of this. Next question there, Finadoodle.
All right. So back to the top with Mr. Warrior here. So question for Warrior from Snakes 1594. The question is, I have a Gear 13 Geobrood Alpha, a Gear 13 Spy, and the rest are Gear 12. If I know my opponents in GAC don't have a Traya, can I use them in frontline defense?
Yes, and if you take the rest of the team to Gear 13, you can say to Traya, because even Traya can't beat a Gear 13 team, even a super tanky one. Super difficult. So yeah, if you want to trick them totally out and get them all to Gear 13, there's almost no teams in the game that beat it other than like the top 3 meta teams. Super difficult. There's got to be a lot of control, and really there's only a handful of teams that will work. So a lot of people, especially because of the Jawas, like because of that whole thing, but people don't want to like get crappy points. They don't normally use the Jawas, but even the Jawas at Gear 13, they don't work. So Traya will melt them, but it takes time. And if your damage is ramped up on all of them and they're all Gear 13, they'll just slaughter through the Traya team, even if people try and put a bunch of protection on them. So I only speak from experience. I go against Gear 13 Geos all the time. I went against one last night. I gave up. My GAC's over because it was on the front line. It's all Gear 13. Everyone's got like 1,500 offense. Every single one of them has 1,500 offense. I took in my Traya with 2 tanks, technically 3 tanks with Scion, and all my team was dead, and there was still health and protection on every character, and it was just my Traya sitting there. And they just kept smacking away at her. I mean, she gets no turn. She just sits there. And it's the leadership that kills them, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. Got them whittled down a little bit, but there was no cleanup team in the world that could have gone in and taken out a primed up Geo team. So unfortunately that was the end of my GAC on that account. So luckily I had my other account. Yeah.
These things happen.
They're a bit OP. Mm-hmm.
I usually, that's why on those kind of teams, I'll go on GR and be like, okay, I'm not messing around with this. Yeah, it's giving me the extra protection. All right, next question. I think we're going to Gom.
Yeah, so good old Maurice, question from Matthew, 1908. And his question is it worth taking Jango from Gear 8 to Gear 12 if there is no Zeta available yet?
I've got mine Gear 12 no Zeta. If you use them on offense, you can be much more selective which team. I mean, if you're using them against a team that has no revive mechanics, you don't really need. If you're talking about the unique, you won't really need that unique then. There's so many teams you can plug him in now. You can plug him in with the Separatists. He's got a generic scoundrel leadership that applies to all scoundrels. Of course, the bounty hunters. I think he's one of the most versatile characters in the game. He hits hard. He's invincible for 2 turns underneath the Separatists. I think, if you've got all your core teams done, like your teams for TB, your Geonosians, and some of the other core teams done for your guild that your guild uses for TW and stuff, I would highly recommend doing Jango. No Zeta. You might want to consider it down the road, but there are so many things coming. There's so many good Zetas now out that you could probably hold off on them and still get a lot of use out of them at Gear 12.
Okie dokie. Next question to Lady Adastra.
Okay, so Adastra, question from Momo the Ninja. Says,
what a name.
I love
That's an
Momo.
awesome username.
Momo
I love
the
it.
Ninja. That's fantastic.
If that is a reference to Avatar, I love it. Momo the Ninja. Question: how do I mod and use Ahsoka Taco Fulcrum? And I said taco. God damn it.
I was just gonna say, did I hear that right?
You did. Rose Taco has messed me up for life. Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum. I have her gear 12 for the Fulcrum quest and never use her.
Oh, all right. I'm glad I got this question. This is a character I actually still use occasionally. How I have her modded is with a crit damage set and a crit chance set. Because she's a very good damage dealer. I have the Zeta on her too, though. So I really capitalize on her damage output. So I'll usually put her like under an Akbar lead, because then she'll get more turns, and then yeah, she's just there to dish out damage basically. And her debuffs don't really stick to her, so you don't have to worry as much about that. And being immune to the damage over time is actually kind of handy. A lot of characters out there that throw dots at you. But yeah, don't really have much to expand on. Just let her dish out the damage. I mean, you want some speed on her too, so she can go fairly often. Like I just have her just over 200 speed, so it's nothing insane, but it's not like she's super slow either. Like you basically want to get some good offense on her first, get the crit damage triangle, do the full crit damage set, and then get a good amount of offense too, and then throw on some speed after that. So you kind of want a little bit of a balance there, and then yeah.
Makes sense. Sounds good. All right. Back up top to Scissorman.
All right. So, Warrior question from Darsion 1972. Any news on CG adjusting Grand Arena Championship divisions? Guild members are lowest in Division 1 and facing opponents with significantly higher GP. They lose every match. I'll be Division 1 soon and am concerned.
So I know that everybody's concerned about this, and I think that the bigger concern is when someone has 880 Zetas and you have 24, or you have a bunch of Gear 12 and they have as many Gear 13. That is a legitimate concern. Total GP is not a concern at all. I know it feels that way to you, but it's not at all. And the reason is they take in your top GP only for the number of teams you can take in. So if you can take in 60 on offense and 60 on defense, they're only considering your top 120 versus their top 120. The rest of their ships and all their lower end Gear 12 and all extra GP is all trashed. So your high end, whoever you get paired with, you're literally within 1,000 GP of that individual you're going against for relative GP, which is the only thing that matters. And if you've got more Zetas, then you might have a roster that looks less good than the other person because Zetas are so much GP. But that would be an advantage to you because you have more GP. So they've done a really phenomenal job actually fixing that aspect of it. It's the other aspect. It's the intangibles they're struggling with. The intangibles being I have someone who's at 5.8 and I'm at 5.7 million. 100,000 GP, that's it. There's a really close variance. That person had 90 Gear 13 and 100 Zetas. I have 102 Zetas and 40 Gear 13. It's just it doesn't look like much. And then you look in mods, and I have 460 mods, and they have 860 mods. That's where the 100,000 is coming from, is the extra 460 mods. So when you get really high end, the GP is really close, but that little bit of difference in GP can make a massive difference on the amount of mods and things as such like that. The lower you go, the less that variant becomes an issue. So in the barely 4.5 mark, that's not even going to be an issue. So I get people's concern. I know it's frustrating when you go against somebody that's got specifically characters you don't have, like Darth Revan. The next battle I do on my Scissorman account, both people, regardless of who wins, both have Darth Revan, and they both have like 15 gear 12. I don't have 15 gear 12, and I don't have Darth Revan, so I'll probably lose that one. But it's still going to be a relatively fair match, GP wise in comparison. So I don't know, man. It's not a perfect system, but it's way better than it was, and some of those intangibles are just really difficult for them to work out. But I think they're going to continue to focus on it because this is kind of their baby, and we all know. So there's hope that they'll continue to listen and try and tweak and do things, and hopefully come up with creative solutions for those little things down the road.
So let me ask a follow-up question, Warrior. I know the question that was asked by Darsai in 1972 was about Division 1. But Division 1, you start to see a little bit more about one-shot efficiency of killing and trying to get the GAC completed that way, right? On your Scissorman account, just after having played one full GAC and now heading into kind of like the first real one, do you think just having double the number of teams that you're putting on defense, counting towards your GP, is accurate for lower GP? Because it seems like, at least so far, a lot of people think that for the lower GPs, you need multiple attacks sometimes to clear teams, and so it may not be as accurate.
Well, I would actually disagree with that. They take your top, I have to place 5 on defense and 5 on offense. That is 10 teams. 10 teams times that is 50. 50 characters. I have like 6 teams that I would consider decent, like gear 10, 11-ish. I have like five of those teams. I have to have 10. So I have to figure out what I'm going to use that's trash on offense, or what I'm going to put on defense that's trash. Like, it's just a choice I have to decide. So I have to decide how many of those good teams I want to give up and try and stunt the opponent, and how many. And so I'll tell you, there's some battles where I'm like, I'm not putting my Revan on defense because he's got Revan and Darth Revan. I have to have it. And then there's other teams where I'm like, he doesn't have a Revan. I'm going to take the chance, put it on defense, and see if I stunt him. Those are very difficult decisions for me at that low level because I only have a couple of teams. I literally have 6 teams that are like your 11 teams. And so that comes down to strategy. And I luckily have done really well. I won the first 3 in this round, and the new round I've won the last one and this one. So I'm now 5-0 in this brand new Grand Arena Championships. And like I said, I'm pretty positive I'm going to lose the next round, which is fine. I'll be like 5-1, but it'll come down to a lot of strategy. The only reason why I'm going to lose the next one, if I do, will be if they keep, or if they put, Darth Revan on defense. There's a really good chance I won't be able to get through a Revan and a Darth Revan on defense. But if they're not as smart and keep all that for their own offense, then it'll come down to efficiency, and who knows. So we'll see. I'm a pretty efficient player, but I think that lower it's more difficult because, like you said, it's hard. You got to do a single clear. But I play, I guess because I'm a high-end player, I play at the low end on my Scissorman account with hyper efficiency. Like, I just streamed my first Grand Arena Championship on Scissorman, by the way. It was super fun. And I mean, I was angry at myself when I was getting 60s. You know what I mean? So it's like single shotting, and I try to keep teams that I know will have a lot of protection, can clear. I can do undersized squads. Like my mentality is, team instinct mentality, but I'm using what I have on the roster. And so it's kind of hard because you don't know how good your team is really going to perform at that lower level in comparison to some of those other lower level teams. I mean, I had a gear 5 bug team two battles ago that decimated my first team that I took in. And they were gear 5. They were gear 5. Like, come on, seriously? But they get 30,000 health and protection. You know what I mean? So instantly they're all like gear 9 essentially. And I just, I didn't think that a gear 5 bug team would be that difficult to kill. And so anyway, I ended up killing it with my Traya and letting them melt themselves down. But I had to use that tactic on my alt account. But I don't know. It's like I said, a tough balancing act. And I think in the lower end, if you're not as efficient or don't know as many mental counters, it makes it more difficult for you. But if you're if you're knowledgeable and you know you're kind of keeping certain teams, like I have a Padme team. She's kind of a, Swiss Army knife. She can, uncork a bunch of teams. So I like it on offense. Same thing with my CLS, Han Solo and, my Rebels. Like they can uncork a bunch of teams. I like to keep him on offense. There are some teams like that. My Geos, my Bugs, while they'd be a great defense, they can kill anything, including Jedi Knight Revan teams for me. So at my level. So of course I keep them on offense. So there's just, I try to make sure my offensive powerhouse is enough. I know I can run through 3 or 4 teams and get pretty good clears / full clears, and then the rest are on defense. But it's strategy, reading what your opponent has, and then figuring out a game plan of what you need to keep to overcome the worst case scenario for what they set on defense.
All right.
All right, so good old Maurice. Next question from Darsion 1972, and his question is: does anyone think the meta will shift in Arena soon with the new light side geo content?
Well, a lot depends on the character we get. The alleged Malak event that's going to be coming. The clones can beat Darth Revan. It's not the cleanest. It's not pretty, but it can be done. Shaak Ti, the 3501st, and Anakin are a soft counter, which could eventually evolve into the new meta. The new characters, people are still figuring them out. Shaak Ti, I'm all in on Shaak Ti. I've got her really decked out. But who knows? She might not even make the team. If we do get this General Anakin, then all of a sudden General Anakin becomes leader, and you pull in Ahsoka on the 501st, and that could be a whole new team. Anakin or whoever's coming. I assume it's going to be a 5th 501st. Could bring some new mechanics to the team that make it immune to something that Darth Revan does, and it instantly changes the meta. So we'll see. I think there's a lot of pieces in this Galactic Republic faction now to possibly change the meta. It's just missing one thing. So we'll see. And it just, they've alluded to many times that they are slowly thinking about moving away from the daily arena. They touched on it again in the Q&A. They seem to kind of take a step back from that initial Carrie interview, where Carrie seemed to be pretty adamant that they were moving that direction. They did seem to take a step back in the last Q&A from that. But who knows? Hopefully, because Darth Revan, while it's fun, the matches are quick. I definitely don't want to go back to the Jedi Knight Revan versus Jedi Knight Revan meta. That was awful. But at least this new meta is quick. You can get in there. It is boring, and it's the same thing over and over again, but the matches last 1 minute. So it would be nice to see at least a 1B in the mix. Maybe at least a different team that can compete. So,
all right. Next question for Jedi Master Adastra.
All right. So Adastra, question from NR Wilson. And the question is: Jedi Training Rey lead with BB-8, R2, Chopper, and Droideka. What do you think of that team?
Well, that sounds like a fun J-Roid's team there. I don't know if you're... I think that'd be a more offensive team than a defensive team, though, from the sounds of it. Because you'd have more control. The AI can be pretty stupid. But that sounds like it'd be a fun offensive team, actually. That you could... I'm not sure what you were planning to use that against. But, with Droideka there, you get some extra damage going. Chopper has your buff dispel and your taunts. So yeah, I use Chopper a lot with my JTR, so I know he goes really well with that team. Droideka, that's a good idea, because he usually gets booted out of the Grievous team now in favor of Newt or Wat or Zoot. So finding a new home for Droideka, that's a pretty good spot, actually. You at least get the droid synergies going, and I think that's looks like a fun team. Yeah.
Would you? So I'm just looking at that team too. Would you want Chopper on the same team as Droideka? Because I figured you would probably smokescreen Droideka, right, and then have Droideka roll up, and then he wouldn't take any damage. Would you want like a separate Haunter on that team as well, or do you think something like a T3 might be better than a Chopper on that team?
Well, on the plus side, if we're talking purely offensive, because Chopper, he also has all those assists that he'll do with droids, and he also has the buff dispel, so he's pretty useful there. But defensively, yeah, maybe. So you would have the hope that R2 stealths everyone and has Droidica targeted when he has his damage immunity up. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, at the same time, T3, he is a very good replacement for that team because he also has he'll add extra protection for the team, and then offensively, yeah, you could use Droidica as your impromptu tank to time. You'd have to really time it though to get his damage immunity up. But yeah, definitely. And with T3, he's adding extra bonuses to the team too. They'll hit harder. So you could really just focus in on Droidica in that regard. Like you could mod him to just be a beast like that, having the protection for him, and then having T3 there to further amplify him. And also he can do the cleanse, and it also applies the debuffs to the opposing team. So yeah, that would actually be a solid team too. Having T3 there instead of Chopper. Absolutely. I mean, that's one cool thing. You have just JTR BB-8. You could add pretty much any droid combination with them. Like it's pretty fun.
All right.
So yeah, it's like we should test this team out against various things. See, put it through its paces.
All right. Back up top to running with Scissorman where?
All right. So Warrior, question from What Else 73. He says, what do you think the next character they release will be?
I think it has to do with the clones, and so I think it's going to be another clone or of another individual that will work with clones. I sneaking suspicion that they'll probably release one character prior to the actual Malik style event. So I'm thinking that we're going to get someone first and then that. And so I'm thinking a touch up rework type situation first. And so I think I'm really hoping for a Mace Windu rework touch up, and then the new Luke or Anakin, as the kind of the Malik style event to kind of cap it off. And then that would give us two new options. And I think the idea would be to build each of them differently in a way that you could build two separate teams with synergy differently based on the individuals that are on there. So I don't honestly, know, but I would think it would be very cool to have Mace redone and then have, the other event that comes out like Malik. They're pretty close to it. They're just like fine tuning exactly all the elements and exactly the people and what they want it to be like. So they shouldn't be too far off. I'm thinking November for the Malik style events, probably the same time as they will have with like the new territory battle or the light side territory battle. We'll see though.
All right. Next question to that Carolina guy.
All right, good old Maurice. Question from Fat Tony 99 says, how much gear do I need on my droids to get them usable in Grand Arena and Territory Wars? My General Grievous will be gear 13 within the week, has both zetas. B1 has a zeta and gear 11. The rest are gear 8 and no zetas.
Well, your Grievous needs to be 13. I think you could probably leave your B1 at gear 11 and work on the rest of them. B1, well, he does get a massive amount of offense the higher you take him. He doesn't need the health. He doesn't utilize the health protection like the other characters do. I would definitely I would probably do 100 next. I know that's a lame recommendation, but B2 can function and do his role with the Zeta. Did you say he had a B2 Zeta?
No, he said the only zetas he has was the 2 on Grievous and the 1 on B1.
You were going to want to save one for B2. And B2 can serve his role, feed the turn meter, be your dispeller, be your buff blocker at gear 10, ish. So I would probably focus maybe on 100, get him up to at least 11. Probably just take him all the way to 12. Then maybe go back and get your B2 to gear 11. Get your you could use Droidica. You could use Newt. Both are good options. I think if you're limited on resources, I think Newt is going to be the more universal play for you. He can plug in there. He can be his own leadership. You can use him at TB. Grievous 13, IG 100 12. Then slowly get the rest up to 12, kind of little by little, I guess. That's what I would do. That might not be the best recommendation, but just trying to save some resources for you.
All right. Next question to Lady Adastra.
Okay. So Lady Adastra, question from CD Angers. And the question is, one of my shard mates quit the game 65 days ago and is still top 50 in fleet and top 500 in arena. Will CG ever remove inactive accounts from the shards? And if not, why?
Oh, that's a good question. I've had a lot of shard mates quit too, and I know other shards that's happened. And so we have like all these ghost accounts just kind of floating around. But I don't think CG would ever just do a purge, so to speak, because it's like, what if that person suddenly decided to come back? Like some people go on an extended break, or I feel like that there's no good way that they could go about that. Even though it would be nice to kind of clean up all the shards a bit, we have all these dead accounts everywhere. I don't think they'll ever do that for that reason. Like in case this person comes back, or maybe they just physically can't do it. I don't know how they would handle, because I don't even think you can delete your own account, right? Like there's not an option to just like, oh, I'm done, I want to erase my account. Like I don't even think there's an option for that, right?
I don't believe so. I mean, theoretically, you can like link it to a Facebook account and then delete the Facebook and potentially just lose all access to it. But I don't think there's a straight delete.
Yeah, I know you could like start over and just kill it that way, I guess. Like if you made a new account and then you just replace your old one, I guess that would be like the only way. But then you'd have another just random floating account. I don't know.
This is another reason they could potentially make Grand Arena the arena. For the reason you just said, you can't just delete people's accounts because what if they come back? But at the same time, like I could put in Hermit Yoda and C-3PO as my arena team, and I bet I wouldn't fall past 70. I'd be shocked if there was 200 active people left on my arena shard.
Yeah, exactly.
In a year from now, there might be like 12 of us. Who knows? That's going to be pretty lame. So I mean, that's...
I know. It's really depressing. Like my shard is becoming that my arena shard. That is. I kind of wish my ship shard would be that. It's so competitive in my ship shard. But yeah, the arena one is just we keep losing people. People quitting, going on very long breaks. So I wish there was like some way they could just gather them up and put them in a temp server, so to speak. But I know that's not feasible. But yeah, I've done that before. Curious to see how far I would drop. Like you were saying, if you put in Hermit Yoda or C-3PO, that you're thinking you wouldn't drop very far. So it's kind of fun to test that once in a while, just to see how active is it still, below the top 50.
Well, I put in crappy teams so I could fall and try to practice with new teams on the way up. Maybe I want to fight a Nightsister or a Jedi Revan team, so I try to fall, and then I fall to like the 30s. I'm just like, guys. Come on,
young job.
This is new Gunray Mob Enforcer we're talking about. Let's do this.
They think it's a trap.
It's a trap. All right. Next question, Finadoodle, for your pleasure. And he's on mute, isn't he? Finn? Finn, don't do this. Did he freeze? Is he frozen?
He went back to Cracker Barrel.
Did the hurricane sneak up on him?
Oh no! Hold on. Let's see what's going on.
He's like, well, since I start my exercise routine tomorrow, I might as well get one more stack of pancakes in.
Well, that's kind of how it works, so. Well, damn it.
He went for seconds or thirds or whatever he's on.
Yeah, he was like, I don't like.
He lives in Florida. They have Waffle Houses there.
Do they? It's the Waffle Houses, right?
Yeah, Waffle Houses, Huddle Houses.
Yeah. So, Finn, are you back with us?
Were you in a pancake coma?
Did you die? You ever get the feeling like you're just talking to yourself and it's.
Well, at least he's got good posture in his freeze frame there. So that's
You're
good.
not wrong. Well. All right, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Hold on, everybody. Let me see if I can try to help Finn here. Oh, what is going on? Hold on a second. All right, let me just see here.
Like, so, how's it going, Maurice? How are you doing?
It's going all right. It's going all right.
Yeah.
Are you kicking butt in your Grand Arena?
No, not this one. I did a pretty miserable job. I put up 18-26, which is pretty miserable offensively, but he hasn't gone yet. So.
Oh dang. Well, maybe he'll stumble a bit on your defenses because
I don't think so. He watches our stream, and I was rambling on about all my tactics the other night. I think he's probably pretty prepared, so we'll see.
He took notes.
Oh, he's already made some comments in the chat. They're a little frightening. So I'm like, oh, how'd you know that was back there?
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
All right. It says he's in here, but I don't know if his mic's not working or what's going on. All right, now I have to go figure out where he was at on his question. All right. Who had the last question? Sorry, I'm trying to get this situated here, guys. Was you Lydia Dasher?
Don't know.
Good, Maurice, was it you?
Fat Tony asked me a question, and there was one more after Fat Tony's.
Okay,
let me see if I can find where it's at in the chat. Does
I
it
got
take
it.
the questions in order?
How much gear does it take for the droids and then NR Wilson?
Yeah. That's the one I answered.
And then I think you got the CD Dangers one, Adasha. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the one we just answered, actually. We were talking about accounts.
Yep, that's what we're doing. Okay, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. We'll just start at the top for Sizzleman Warrior. Let's see. All right, so we'll go to you, Warrior, with the next question from Shad Ragnar, the Red Kelly. Question, so I haven't spent a dime on my GOTB currency. My roster is 100% ready for General Grievous' capital ship. Am I saving for no reason, or is it a good chance that that's where the ship will be like GK's capital ship is?
So, I have no idea. I'm just a big proponent of do what you know, not what you think. And what we think is going to, there's nothing wrong with saving, I suppose. But I think since everyone thinks that, they're probably going to go, well, that's too easy. And then they'll probably do something else. So they'll probably create like a legendary ship event where kind of like the Chimera, where you have to take in certain ships. And it will probably be Galactic Republic has to go in against some like super overpowered, malevolence with, all these like droid ships that are just like cranking out mad damage and stuff. And you got to have like some super durable team with, your ships and stuff. And so my thought is it's probably the one ship we know that exists is the Negotiator. So I'm just dumping all my resources into it to unlock it and max it out. And then if it's not needed, whatever, it's done. And then I can focus on the next ship. The thing you got to remember is there's already enough ships to make the Negotiator viable once it's at 7 stars and we tweak a few things, but there's not for the General Grievous team. There's not. So they're going to have to release not just the malevolence. They have to release 3 to 5 more ships to make that thing worthy. So you got a whole lot of work for that ship to make it happen. And I think they're going to release a few ships strategically like they did the Vulture Droid, ship. I think they're going to start planting those little seeds throughout the next 3 or 4 months. And as those drop, you'll want to farm them up and get them good. And then, when it comes out, you'll have the team set up for that. But I see it as further down the line and not imminent. And so I'm going for the Negotiator, and I do think the Negotiator will be needed for it. However, I could be totally wrong, and you could be saving your currency, and you could possibly get that ship before me. Who knows? But I try to do what I know versus what I think, because what I know is what I know, and I know I can get the Negotiator.
All right. This question to good old Maurice from Apropos Win. Question: I have a Gear 12 Zeta V. Says, what do I do with her now?
That's a good question. If you figure it out, please let me know, because I got the same thing. I
am a man.
You know, she can be helpful in cleanup squads. She's not a terrible fifth for your Karth team, because she does provide a cleanse, and if you build her very, very tenacious, she kind of slots in on that Karth team pretty well, because she'll be tough to debuff and keep the debuffs off them, because you would probably use her instead of Juani. You know, there are some team comps where you could use her, like now, but the 501st are together now. But in the past, you could use like a Rex Wampa Visas combo. If you got your Hermit, you go to elsewhere. She's just kind of she's got no faction. She has really no synergy. She's got some anti-Sith synergy. So I mean, she's really a plug and play character. She's just, I don't know. She's kind of, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of her. I've got her as well. So
she's good against Sith, and you can use her for, I mean, really good against Sith. But I mean, where do you use her at? That's the question, right?
She's a good PVE character. I think she'll be pretty handy for the new TB. I bet she'll be pretty good. Because I mean, you're gonna be fighting. I'm assuming the Dark Side Separatists, and those are very debuff oriented characters. So I mean, her cleanse and stuff could come in handy for you for TB. But I mean, if you guys have any better suggestions, please, because I'm curious as myself where you guys use her.
Oh, glad you asked.
There you go.
No. Why would you do that, good old Maurice?
Well, I mean, but Maurice made a good point though. Like, one of her main teams was with Rex, but now he's kind of he's his own team now with the clones, 501st. So there's no room for her with that team anymore. It used to be the Rex, Wampa, Visas +2. And so now you kind of just tack her on the different teams, but it's also dependent on what you're fighting, like where you're at in the level. Like, it used to be we'd see a lot of Zal teams. She was fantastic against those type of teams, or Emperor teams without, Darth Revan and Treum. So it's like she's kind of past her prime, unfortunately, for a lot of the plug and play that she used to be capable of. I mean, she was created for the Sith raid, and obviously that's not very useful anymore either. And then I tried so many times to get her to work with Jedi teams, but her not having any tags, it really hurts her synergy. Because a lot of team comps now are so synergy based, or so, you have a lot more options now. So she's kind of this extra character that you have the roster and the spare teams. She can go, like I've used her with when I'm creating my weird combinations for that cleanse and extra heals. So like her plus Zaris, for instance, like that's a lot of healing going on, a lot of protection for a team. And then I think you did say Karth, right? Her as a fifth for Karth for that cleansing, extra protection. And then she has that revive. A lot of people forget about that revive. Like, they're just thinking healing, but if you kill someone else, she can bring them back. But yeah, unfortunately, my Visas doesn't get used as much anymore. I used to make good use of her, but there's so many other choices now that, like we said, the synergy is just so much more with characters nowadays that the only plug and play characters that are going to be forever is like Thrawn and Nest, just because they're just good. Yeah. But yeah, I still hope Visas gets a tag, but I think that was shot down in the Q&A again. I think someone asked that, or it's been asked before, like, will she ever get a tag? And I'm pretty sure they said no, or that they intended it that way. They don't want to give her any synergies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like,
all right. All right. Lydia Dasher, next question to you. Matthew 1908 question. Until now... Well, are you back? All right, I'll do this question, then you can do... Yes, he survived. Matthew 1908 says, Question: until now, I've bought only gear from the shipment store credits when I have less than 150 pieces of it. Is it worth it now to buy tier 6 plus gear for upcoming Jawa scavenger relic system?
Which store? Sorry.
Okay, I'll read the question again. Until now, I bought only gear from the shipment store credits when I have less than 150 pieces of it. Is it worth it now to buy to the tier 6 gear plus for upcoming Jawa scavenger relic system?
Okay, yeah. I mean, I know it's like you can kind of just hoard in advance because they're saying they're going to use all this gear, but we don't know which gear yet. You don't want to be buying up a bunch of gear that's not going to get used. I mean, it's kind of I was debating this too, like, oh, we should just continue to stockpile gear because we're going to be able to exchange it. But I don't think we're going to be able to exchange every single piece of junk gear that we have hundreds of or thousands of. So I think hoarding would probably be a good option right now of those currencies to buy stuff in the shipments, or because it's hard to say what we're gonna need. Like, we know in general a lot of the gear is gonna get used up for this relic stuff, and but there's no way every single piece is gonna be of use. We're gonna have some just sitting on the sidelines. It would be nice if every single piece got used up, though, especially for us older players that have thousands of this junk. That'll be fun. That'll be fun to see because it'll show all the inventory, right? I think they were saying that it'll show every piece we have. So that's our impromptu inventory checker. So we kind of fun to see the god awful amounts of gear we have.
Why have thousands of gear dash here when we could have hundreds, perhaps? No, nothing. Okay. All right, Finn, we're back up to Deadpool Kyle's question, and we're back to Warrior.
All right. So Warrior, question from Deadpool Kyle, and his question is: being in Division 2 now kind of sucks having to place 8 teams on defense. It really sucks because I was expecting to only place 7 teams and kind of got screwed. Why did they change it?
I don't know if they changed it. I haven't been in Division 2. Division 1 is 8. I know, like, the original Grand Arena was just a trial. And so I know that what they had in there was just they were trying it out. And I think they felt like we had enough teams to actually field both offense and defense. So when they launched Grand Arena Championships live, they stretched all of us at every level. Like I said, I have to, on my Scissorman account, when I started Division 7, I had 4 teams, which was 8 teams. 8 teams at Division 7, you're like 1.4 million, and you have to do 8 teams. Like, I don't know if anyone understands the ask on that, but you're talking about Gear 4 and 5 teams to try and field that. They're like, why? Like, I don't understand why they stretched us all out like that, but whatever, it is what it is. I think they want us to make those tough decisions as to who we're going to put on offense, who we're going to use on defense. I think that's the whole point. And then at the highest end, they just don't care. It's just like everybody gets 8. So I don't know why they went from what they did in the trials to what they did in the actual live, primary one or whatever. It is what it is, though, right?
Yeah. And I think it's kind of what you were... Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go for it.
I was going to say, it's kind of like what you were talking about earlier with your Scissorman, right? Which is knowing how many teams you have for offense and defense, and then trying to figure out how you strategize and maybe putting some weaker teams on defense so you can save more for offense and those kind of things.
Exactly. It's a really tough, ask to figure it out. So.
All right. So before we get to the next question really quick, we have over 100 people watching and 29 thumbs up. So please take a second here and give us a thumbs up. Please thank all of the people on the panel for spending their Saturday mornings and answering your questions for you guys. We still have a little bit of time here. So if you have questions, make sure you type it in the chat, put question in front of it so that Nightbot picks it up and I can add it to the queue. Still have room for a little bit more before we stop picking up questions. And before we get to the next question, also, I want to make one quick announcement. You guys may have heard us talk about it on the lunch stream yesterday and then also on the Wednesday night stream, but we just want to announce it really quick as we're at kind of like the halftime of our Jedi Academy here. September 24th, starting at 11 a.m., we'll be doing a live stream for about 4 hours from the Children's Hospital of Atlanta, from the Pediatric Oncology Wing to kick off the RSG 2020 ACS campaign. So we'll be spending a few hours there live streaming with a bunch of the kids. We'll be playing games. We'll be playing Xbox and just having fun. Ranger and I will be in costume for that. Ranger will be Darth Revan and I will be Jedi Consular Finn, and we'll be hanging out. So if you guys haven't already, please make sure you set aside some time on the 24th so you guys can join us for that. Again, 11 a.m. to about 3 p.m. Eastern time is when we will be live streaming that.
And then today after this, I will be doing my JC right after this event. So if you guys want to join us for my second round fight action, we'll do that. And then we got Pictionary tonight. Are we doing Pictionary tonight, Finn?
Yeah, we will. Okay. But we can talk about that later.
I'm just throwing it out there, just little news and notes, little tidbits, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So okay, that's all boring. Let's get back to the questions.
All right. So next question for good old Maurice. Question from Danilo Papayas. How should I mod General Grievous?
Let's see. I'm going to assume it's for a proper General Grievous team, right? So lots of health. I would shoot for Gear 13 100%, then try to get at least 100,000 health on him. I think the crit chance that you can find from your secondaries will determine the triangle. I think if you can get them 65% crit chance, you could probably go with the crit damage triangle. If it's lower than that, I'd probably go with a health, possibly crit chance. Again, it all depends who you're using it against. Unfortunately, a lot of the counters for General Grievous have some form of crit avoidance mechanic in their kits. So that's something to keep in mind too. A lot depends on how you're going to use him. But lots of health. You do need speed on him. Now, I see a lot of people running like a 170, 180 General Grievous with tons and tons of health. Now, I don't. If he only goes whenever your droid dies, he's not going to do you much good. You need him to actually take turns because he's gonna land debuffs. He's going to facilitate more turn meters if he's the leader. Just health and no offense. I see a lot of people put offense on him. Offense does him no good whatsoever. Focus health. He can use potency, tenacity, even protection is all better than offense. And really look for your health set mods that have at least 2, preferably 3, if not 4 rolls into crit chance. He does need crit chance. You want to get that crit chance without using a crit chance set. So that it can be tough, but it's something to maybe favorite him, put him at the top of your list, just constantly be looking for ways to improve him. Because he is arguably the best single character in the game. You can make a case he's right up there with Malik and Darth Revan and whatnot at Gear 13. So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Next question for Lady Adastra.
All right. So Adastra, question from Fat Tony 99. Who is the better lead for defense in Territory Wars using all Gear 13 Nightsisters? If he's using Asajj, Mother Talzin, Daka, Zombie, and Spirit.
That is a constant question of debate. Like, you'll have people on one side that advocate Asajj is the superior lead. Others will say MT is the superior lead. So did they say they had all the Zetas on them? It's Gear 13, so I'm imagining they have all Zetas.
Yeah, they didn't make a comment on the Zetas. I'm assuming they have all the Zetas, though. Yes.
Yeah,
except maybe
if they're going all in, yeah, most likely. And this is purely for defense, right?
Yes, for defense.
Okay, yeah, so I've been doing testing with this, and again, there's people that really analyze this. But overall, I feel I'm in the Asajj camp. I feel like she, for general, because I know it's going to be dependent on what you're facing, if you know what your opponent has. But in general, the Asajj lead is really nice on defense because of that TM gain. It can really mess up some counters that are turn meter dependent or turn order dependent, or just like when they're trying to kill one of your Nightsisters, the TM will just really mess it up and they can go in between. So like say Spirit, she can get like her big hit and stun someone and that'll mess them up. So, like, from personal experience, I've had more difficulties against Asajj lead teams than the Mother Talzin lead because of that TM. But yes, I know the Plague and the Revive is great. That's where I feel on offense, the Mother Talzin lead is more fun and stronger in that sense because you have absolute control in how to run it correctly. But for defense, accounting for the AI, I just feel like the Asajj lead one, especially with Gear 13, well modded, all zeted Nightsisters, that is a tough team for various counters. So if you're getting counter specific, that can kind of change it up where sometimes Mother Talzin lead could be better because of the Plague Revive mechanics if they don't get control of that team and do the proper kill orders. But again, in general, for general defense purposes, Asajj lead is really good for mainly for that TM boosts, the turn meter stuff that they get.
I like it. I agree with you 100,000%. All right, next question back up to Warrior.
All right. So Warrior question from Dylar's Twilight Tactics says, thoughts on the Negotiator? Is it a true Admiral Akbar hard counter? Will it hold on defense? And what front three and reinforcements do you feel will be best?
A lot of questions unanswered, can't be answered. I don't think the team's complete yet. Just like Revan, Darth Revan came out, and then everyone with their Jedi Knight Revans were like, "This team sucks. I can smoke Darth Revan. This is easy." And then Malak came out, and everyone was like, "Darth Revan sucks." I think the same is true with Negotiator. I think there's some, a missing element, a missing piece. I think there's a chance that there's going to be another clone introduced and a possible another ship introduced. Is this funny? They do have a lot of clones already with clone ships already. That was kind of painted early on, and nobody thought anything of it. And now there's a possibility they will be cool. I think it would be funny, actually, if we got a Plo Koon touch-up that would work with that team as well, because that would make complete sense. And Plo Koon, while he's good, could definitely use a touch-up as well. And I feel like until the Negotiator's 7 stars and you can have a full reinforcement lineup, it's not really fair to handicap him like that at 5 stars and then try to compare, because it's just not fair. I mean, anything at 7 stars is stronger, faster, all of that than something at 5 stars. And then as far as the proper lineup, we don't know, because we don't know what pieces we're really going to need. But I feel like, do you remember the Mace meta where it was just a huge timeout thing, where it was just really difficult to kind of chew through? I think something similar to that. And the reason is just because Millennium Falcon can chew through stuff doesn't mean anything actually with the Negotiator, because once you chew through something, which takes a minute, even with the Negotiator, it goes stealth and is prevented from dying. And you can't finish it off. It physically prevents you from finishing the ship that you started off. And then another reinforcement, and as long as you build tanks in the reinforcement, such as the clone ship that comes in, and as long as he has protection, he's tanking. And it's similar to the Mace team in that sense. But the thing is, I've noticed is you got to get the ball rolling, and the ball rolling against Akbar team is hard, because you just start losing your teammates, and then you can't build your team. But if you can get 5 ships out, all tanky ships, they finally get to able to go back to that first ship that they had almost finished off, and they go back to finish it, and you bring in your first reinforcement, and it's Annie, and he's laying waste and stuff, or there's another ship that we get to do. The other thing is, a lot of people don't have these Galactic Republic ships maxed, including myself. Like, I'm just now doing Jedi Consulars levels, like to level 7 and stuff on his ship. Because why would I have done it prior to now? But now I'm like, okay, Galactic Republic, and there's a lot of like protection regeneration and extra damage that is not realized until you put all those Omegas into it, and nobody's really ever put the Omegas into those highest end things. I'm like everyone else. We only had a finite amount of Omegas, and you've only been able to buy a finite amount of them. It's been very difficult to get ship Omegas. So up to this point, I think that there's not enough people excited about ships, and not enough ship Omegas in the world to let you max everything out. And I think that there's just priorities in the past have not allowed for us to understand the full breadth of what these are available. But these guys test with everything max. So they've tested with the current ships, and they have a good synergy, and it's just about finding it. But I think what people do is they put the Negotiator in thinking, I got to put Annie in front because I need some damage. I really need to be able to get rid of blah, blah, blah. And the problem is it's defense first, offense later with the way the Negotiator was built. And so I think 3 really tanky ships with another tank and then maybe a bunch of offense coming in later is really how it's going to play out as more efficient, because you got to weather that initial storm and then be able to, kind of get to it. And if you look at the Negotiator's build, it's got a huge countdown, but once the countdown occurs, there's this huge bomber run that just decimates the opposing team. So if you can weather the storm and allow your Negotiator to kind of do its thing, it's going to cripple the team. And Mace teams were harsh because you could go full 5 minutes and not win. And that was, in mirror matches. But I think if we can build something similar to that with Negotiator, it won't be that long. It will probably be about a 3-minute battle and a victory, as long as you can build that strong defense to start.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how many different combinations you've tested so far. Have you put it through its paces, or is it just, since it's 5-star, that it's kind of hard just on that alone?
Well, a couple of things. First off, I don't have it unlocked because I was a bonehead and spent 750 of my currency on something at some point in the last 3 months.
Oh,
I'm an
no.
idiot. And I was 610 currencies shy of unlock. They were like, everybody, we're about to unlock. Everyone in the guild is unlocking today. It's so exciting. And I'm like, what? Huh? I'm
like,
shy.
I hate all of you.
Is there currency coming? And I'm looking at the currency on the board. I'm like, there's no more currency available on the board for today or tomorrow. Where am I getting the last currency to unlock? What's going on? And I started doing the math. I'm like, I'm 610 shy. I spent it somewhere at some point. I'm a moron. And I have to wait till the next GOTB. The good news is the GOTB is coming out. Truth is 5-star sucks anyway. It always does, always will. I think the only 5-star capital ship that is worthy of running is the Chimera. And the reason for that is the Chimera has the fastest ultimate. It increases cooldowns on the opponent's ultimate, and it just obliterates a ship, which can literally turn the battle. And it's not about the reinforcements you have. You don't need those last reinforcements with the Chimera. You're either winning or you're losing, and if you're winning, that makes sure you finish it off and finish victory. And if you get to that point and they're stacked 5 deep and you haven't touched them, an ultimate's not going to make a difference. You're losing regardless. So that's the only one. I don't think the Negotiator is going to be like that as far as the amount of power that it has.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I'll be unlocking it at TB also, so I'm going to test it like crazy. I was really hoping it'd be able to take on the Falcon fleets, but I'm worried for that reason. That 5-star to 7-star difference might just be too much to overcome, even though I have a lot of ships to throw with it, which I'll still test. But yeah, it's looking like it's not going to be this OP counter to the stupid Falcon meta.
No, a point brought up in the chat, which I think is true, right? So if you have ETA in the starting lineup, at least it'll start with Undying Loyalty, which should help with a little bit of the survivability aspect.
Yeah, but I guess until more testing is done,
right?
Warrior stated that it takes forever to get to that cooldown, the ultimate compared to other ships, and just the speed. This team isn't built for speed like the Falcon. They have the assists like crazy. They have the speed going for them. So it'll be interesting to see as more people unlock it, to see these different combinations that come up, because everyone's doing the same cookie cutter comp right now. And I'm like, there's a lot other things you can do here, people. So I'm excited. I'm hopeful I can find something neat and different that people maybe have not thought of yet, or someone else will come up with something that someone hasn't thought of yet. So I really want this ship to kind of add some variety in Arena again.
No, you don't. You just want it because it's a Jedi. Get out of here.
Well, that too. That
Jedi
goes without saying. But my Arena is just the same.
I know. That's why I hate Arena. in both. It's Darth Revan versus Darth Revan.
Jedi Consularship is going to change everything for Fleet Arena.
No, it's
okay.
not.
This question
That's
for
awful.
good old Maurice.
That is an awful statement.
Question from Kurtman for good old Maurice. What is the ideal or proper turn order for a Padme, Anakin, Snips, C3, and GK team?
I see we've listed the don't give Gob any Padme questions rule.
Well, he actually specified it for you. He actually said for good old Maurice.
I saw it. Yeah. Poor fella. But I guess it depends on what you're doing. I mean, if you're fighting, Revan, you want C-3PO to go first. Remember that he gets the 20 speed bonus, and then you want GK, and then you want Anakin, and then you want Snips. Or he said Barriss, didn't he?
He corrected from the Barriss. He meant GK, not Barriss.
Okay. So yeah, if you wanted to try to counter Darth Revan, the slower route is what I run. It's okay. C-3PO first. But he doesn't need to have the physical. He doesn't physically have the highest speed, but he will go first with his 20 speed boost. Then GK, and then Anakin, and then Snips, and then Padme. And all four of them won't really take a turn because they'll be feared. When it's Padme's turn, she'll clear all the buffs and get everybody going, get all the protection up, and then you just go to town. And just make sure. If there's a Sith Trooper, you want to make sure you put your little icon on Sith Trooper so Ahsoka will assist and dispel the taunts. Just try to stack up as much courage as possible. Use your assists on, Basla. Use your assists on HK. HK is the real threat. You got to get him out of there as quick as you can. If you use him for Grievous, the turn order is a little different. I use my Padme to counter Grievous. I like a fast Padme. She goes first. She basically you waste her her uncleansable stun move on 100 that will guarantee a B2 pretty much assist, and then you just go to town on B2, get rid of him, cleanse as quick as you can. There's all sorts of ways to do it. I'm not sure that it's really viable, great option for Darth Revan anymore. I think there are better options now. I don't know. I'm not the Padme expert though. I basically just do what everybody else does. I copied other people when it comes to Padme. I didn't come up with anything creative on my own. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just Ian. I'll just give him a shout out because he has become like the Padme master so far. Like that's his thing, and he does a really good job on finding a bunch of different Padme combinations and orders. And if you haven't seen his videos, he does a really good job actually of detailing a lot of the Padme stuff. So. Yeah, I don't disagree with anything good old Maurice said there, but it parallels a lot of what It's Just Ian does as well. So
pretty much anything I know about Padme probably came from him. So
yeah,
I put his channel in the chat if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there he goes.
We pimp his stuff all the time. He plays Battlefront with me. We have a little jaunt and laugh. Although the game is broke as hell right now. We haven't been playing. We won't be playing it stuff for Tuesdays. All right, Lady Dasha.
All right. So. Jedi Master Adastra. A question from Doc Ravage, and his question is: how do you think they should fix the single team defense in Grand Arena Championships?
Oh, if someone sets one team and nothing else?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Because I guess they would have to do like a separate coding because they have something in place for if someone places 0 defenses, then it does that autofill. So I don't know. It's with the way their coding is that they could just do a separate line of code that like it would check the slots, like it does with that one. If like it shows player X has 0, defenses fill in accordingly and whatever. I don't know why they couldn't do kind of the same thing with just a different set of parameters. So just like it shows like X player has only placed one team and then the rest is 0, 0, 0. Like, I don't know why they can't just do the autofill code after that, do the same parameters, because it takes like the top characters and just throws them in. So they would just have to write a separate code. But I mean, I know it's not that simple, so to speak, but I feel like they could if they really wanted to. But also from their standpoint, how often does that happen? Because they're all about like resource management lately of what's affecting the players more so. Because they're working on all these different features, and then the cheating thing, they're still hopefully they're still trying to work on something in that regard. So I think it's just a matter of priority for them. That I'm hoping they'll do something like that someday, because I mean, I know people that's hit them. I don't know the percentage of users that's hit, because that might factor in to prompt it as a higher priority so that doesn't screw people over with the feats, because because they get the points now, but now people are just losing out on the feats, or no, they get the points now, don't they? At least
Right now, they're getting full points, I believe. Yes.
okay, so it does kind of balance out in the way, at least for the point of variance or whatever. That they're going to be scoring better than people that are facing actual defenses. So from at least the point standpoint, they're coming out ahead. But yeah, for the experience, that stinks, not being able to fight anything, and then you're not getting any feats progress. So just the enjoyment aspect goes way down. But at least from a competitive standpoint, they'll still get the points. So again, I don't know if CG is in any rush to fix that.
Well,
because right now people can do the forceful to the carbonite level. Because I was talking with someone with that, like, how the heck would someone get stuck at that level? Because just setting defenses gets you a certain amount of points that you will naturally get to it. It'd be unless you skip an entire Grand Arena session, I guess.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people are forcing it by only setting one team.
So we've had this question before, so I don't know if you gave your thoughts on it. Would you prefer that they autofill from the top of your roster or autofill from the bottom, so that if you are autofilling, the other person has an easy matchup that they can gain points on very quickly?
Well, the downside of that, though, is the person could say they forgot and then it autofilled with all their crap tunes. They can then go on offense, destroy their opponent, though. So at least by top filling, it punishes the person for not setting anything.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So,
but I will say those teams are crazy. I had recently an opponent that set the autofill thing. I'm just like, these teams are so weird. Like,
some of them have weird synergies that you would never think about, but they're just somehow effective just because they're really powerful.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. It kind of like sometimes they give good ideas like, never thought of combining those two together, or what in the world is this? Or
all right. Yeah. Next question back around we go to Warrior.
Hold up. I gotta get going. Let me say my goodbyes.
Okay, say your goodbyes, pimp your channel, the like crap, all that stuff.
As always, fun to be here. You can find me on YouTube, Jedi Master Dastra, Jedi content. So
you have time for one quick fun question?
Huh?
You have time for one quick fun question?
Oh, is this a Durgan question?
Yes, it is.
Oh, God.
Bring it on.
All right. So he says, how does it feel to have a movie named after you, and will there be any Jedi in it?
Yeah, I've gotten tagged so many times about that movie coming out. I was like, yeah, I even have a small role in there. See if he could spot me.
Oh, damn.
Oh, my God.
And then some people were saying you should just put a picture of your avatar and be Brad Pitt, since he's starring in there. So just have a picture of Brad Pitt.
All right.
But yeah, it looks like a good movie.
Has nothing to do with the name either.
Wait a minute, there's no Jedi in this.
Bye, Jedi Master Bad Pitt.
All right, have a good one, you guys. Have a good week.
All right, Jedi Master Dastra. All right, back up to Warrior.
All right, so Warrior question from Paparazzi, and her question is: do you think a Traya team plus a Zeta Barris could take out Gear 13 Geos?
Anything's possible if you build it right, but the damage output that I'm seeing, Zeta Barris can't overcome. So I guess, if you spent a long time modding specifically your entire team around a Zeta Barris to make sure everybody's got high healing when they're getting hit. There's a possibility you could overcome. But I don't see it. And this is why I use my Geos on offense. And I see teams with a Zeta Barris in it all the time, like First Order, and they've got 70,000 health on their Kylo Ren and, unmasked and a Zeta Barris, and I walk through that team with my Geos. So, I mean, you got to remember, if there's a hard, target or whatever, Spy just destroys, hitting for 100 to 200K, and it ramps up. And I know with Treya team, it's all about timing and like lasting long enough to let the leadership just do its thing. But I don't know. Someone who's got all the mods in the world could play around with that and test and try and see. But it's all 13 and offense. Like, if people focus on offense, it's stupid. I'll be honest. It's really stupid. It's super overpowered. I use my Geos against Revan too. It kills everything but Darth Revan. And I think with the right modding, I could probably kill Darth Revan with it, honestly. It's just that powerful. It's actually quite stupid how powerful the Geos are. But I love it because on my alt account, it gives me a team that I can beat basically anything with. So pretty awesome.
All right.
Next question, good old Maurice from Sith Lord 72.
Is it a Padme question?
It is not a Padme
Damn it.
question. So the question is, a guild member is quitting the game and wants me to take over his account. I think this is against terms of service. Would I risk his and my main account being banned if I take it over?
I mean, it is against terms of service, but I don't think that you're going to get banned. I mean, I suppose you could, if they really wanted to crack down on that. I guess you would be eligible for that, but I would hope that they're more honed in on the cheaters and resolving that issue than they are people just quitting the game and giving their account to somebody else. I mean, there's forum posts where people like there's entire forum posts dedicated to where people go and buy and sell their accounts, and it's been going on for years. People all the time quit the game and give their accounts to a guildmate. You guys need a 600. Here's my account. You can bring it in. I have access to a couple accounts. I don't really use them that often, but I mean, I have access in case we're down a member and we just need to get somebody in there for 600s. I mean, so is it against terms of service? Yes. Are you going to get in trouble? Probably not. I don't want to say no, but then something happened and be like, well, good old Reese, you said that would be fine. But, maybe
if they want to use it as a hammer against you, they can. I
would suggest that if you do take the account, that you don't come on live streams and publicly announce that you have an extra account. Like, maybe just keep that one to yourself. Just keep that between you and the other account.
All right. Next question for Warrior.
Okay. Warrior question from Ziglet. Do you think we will ever need Gamorrean Guard or Tusken Shaman for anything?
Actually, that's funny because that was one of the nuggets inside of the question and answer session. Someone asked about Tuskens, and they said yes, they want to round out that faction by adding a couple new Tuskens. Not that they want to do anything super special with the Tuskens. They just thought that they are kind of homeless, just like the Geos were, and there was kind of no purpose like the Geos had. And now the Geos have purpose, and it only took a couple of characters. So they're thinking of adding a couple of Tuskens to kind of bring about purpose and give them enough, breathe life into them. So I think some people are going to be excited about this, but I don't think there's going to be a huge overpowered aspect about it, but I think they're going to turn them into a team that's like a solid B-level offense or defensive team. And the three that are in are actually kind of individually unique and good characters. They're not used a ton. I know early on in the game, there was quite a few different team comps you could make and build with those characters, with the healing or the damage over times teams, just things like that. So with them adding one or two more, they could round that faction out, make it a B-level team and call it good. And it sounds like that's what they want. far as Gamorrean Guard goes, he was one of the original filler characters in the game, one of the original first 70, kind of like Mob Enforcer. And they have said over and over and over and over that those original like filler characters that they put in, they have zero desire or want to do anything with. The idea was that they had some characters that they could put in the game to launch, and then they would bring about all the really cool characters over time. That's kind of the point. There's no real need or want to do anything with Gamorrean Guard. And to be honest, the Gamorrean Guard works in Scoundrel teams and damage over time teams. He's a, very tanky tank. He's a probably C to D level character as it sits, but he's a great filler tank for some of those teams where you're like, man, I need one more tank on this team to kind of stifle my opponent. And that's a great guy to kind of stick in there because he's got so many, dots and stuff like that. So like a mission Zalbar team, adding him as the second tank so you can pull L3 out and use L3 somewhere else kind of thing. So yeah, I don't see him being touched at all. He probably wouldn't like to be touched anyway. And
oh my.
And I do think that the Tuskens will see a touch-up / rework / add new characters probably over the next 6 months. And it will be just kind of out of right field. By the way, here's a new Tusken marquee character. And then here is a new Tusken that has a new summon mechanic that summons like a bantha or something crazy in the background, and you know what I mean. And there's the beginning of our ships, or I mean of our vehicles, because they'll call a bantha a vehicle. I know it. I can feel it in my heart. I'm like, that is not a vehicle, but I'm gonna see it. I know it, and I'm gonna be like, what? This is the first of the vehicles? And they'll be like, yeah, because they ride them. But characters would be cool like that. And then as far as the summoning mechanics, they did mention that they were going to summon stuff. Guys, be prepared because those OP boxes are coming back.
Not the OP boxes.
Yeah, you're going to be able to summon random boxes, and one box will just sit there, and another box might explode and kill the whole team.
Well,
It'll be a rando fun experience. And if you're listening and you have no idea what I'm talking about, you have missed some of the most weirdest marquee events of
yeah, remember when we were trying to figure that out? We were like, I remember asking, like, what is with the boxes? And where's like, I don't know, like, I don't know, that's what I'm asking you, damn it. Oh, I forgot about the boxes. The boxes. All right, next question to Carolina. Don't ask him a Padme question, Maurice.
Really quick, before we get to the question, Stu is in the chat.
Stu!
Hey, Stu.
Stu Guard.
All right, so Good Old Marie's question from Scowist. Does Geo Brood Alpha need both Zetas, and if so, which comes first?
Ooh, well, I would definitely do the I like the Brute Zeta first. I'm going to say yes on both Zetas. Like the leadership is one that I kind of overlooked myself. Oh, you don't need that. But then, like,
I try to tell you,
as Warrior mentioned earlier in the stream, they beat anything. And if you have them in your pockets and you have that leadership Zeta, I do think you're going to need that leadership Zeta to have a chance against Jedi Knight Revan. I think that's probably going to be, or like a Padme. I guess you can't really, I don't know about Padme, but Jedi Knight Revan, if you want to beat Jedi Knight Revan with the bugs, I think that leadership is probably going to be a necessity.
Yeah, if you want to beat Padme, you have to have that Zeta, the leadership Zeta, because the extra damage is what beats. It's more damage than what they're recovering, and you got to be able to do more than they recover, and you can't do that. You can't even scratch them without it, but with it, you destroy them.
So you can beat Padme with the bugs? I haven't tried that one. I'm scared of that.
Yeah, Padme with bugs before the Zeta. For example, on my alt account, I have it without the Zeta, the leadership Zeta, and very comparable Padme team. I couldn't dent it. It was horrible. It was painful, even with my spy. Very difficult. 5 minutes and I killed one character. Very difficult. With this, I added the second Zeta, ran into the same exact composition as second GOTB. I walked through it all because I had the extra damage, because it's 10% more, 10% more damage, per buff. So it's like, or per individual over there. So it's like 50% more. It's a lot more damage, and it's just enough to overcome that regeneration of protection that they're getting from those out of turn attacks. Same thing with the event. If you did the event without the Zeta, it was much more difficult. Whereas if you had that Zeta, it was much easier to get through that Padme team in the event. for General Grievous.
All right.
All right. And last question before we get to the fun questions. For Warrior from Epic Fails, do you think we will get 3 regular clones for a second unit and 1 more 501st so Ahsoka can go back to Galactic Republic?
Well, so that's the what I was mentioning earlier. I feel like Mace and Plo Koon, there's a few good Galactic Republic style characters that are kind of needing reworked, or touch ups, whatever, because they do different ones. Touch ups are a slight change, reworks are a complete fix. And I do think they're going to want to pull and make a couple of teams, new fresh teams out of a couple of those. And not everybody has developed Plo. So let's make him relevant and let's make everybody develop him, right? That's kind of the thing. And same thing with Mace. So a lot of people have developed Mace to the minimum extent that they need to for ships, and then they let it go, and they kind of ignore him. And I mean, there's a few suckers out there that used him for early on and didn't know better, but but most people knew better and didn't put anything into Mace. And so I think with the touch ups of those 2 and the addition of 1 or 2 more clones, exactly, I think that you'll be able to have a 501st, and you'll be able to do a Galactic Republic clones blend that will work really well as well. And I think Shakti will actually come out of this original team, and will actually go into another team with clones and Mace or Plo or whatever, and then the 501st will be an exclusive 501st with 5 of them. That's what I think is going to happen, but I mean, I could be wrong, but I do think there's a marquee coming with a character that'll be relatively OP. That'll be in addition to 501st. They did confirm a few more marquees are on their way this year. So
okay.
All right. So now we have some around the corn questions.
Oh, no.
So we'll just kind of go around here. So first one from Apropos Wooin, and he says, for the panel, what's the most exciting part of SWGOH for you right now? Let's start with Warrior on this one. What is your most exciting part of SWGOH?
Well, it would be my Scissorman account, first off. I am on cruise control on my main account, but on my alt account, I actually enjoy waking up and doing my dailies. I enjoy the grind. I know, weird, but I enjoy the grind. I enjoy the fact that I'm at 79 of 100 on Wicket. I'm I know C-3PO's coming, and I'm so freaking close to having all of them 7-star gear 9 or above, and that was my hope to get them that way. I'm looking forward to my next Zeta going on Sherpa. I know, weird, right? So it's just funny where you go, where you go to mentally, but. So I'm having fun with that. I also really enjoy Grand Arena on my alt, not my main, but my alt. I really enjoy in Scissorman going through those battles and trying to determine what part of my roster has to be there to stifle them and prevent them from getting max points, but also how can I keep enough on offense I can get a full clear and still get my feet. And it's a really difficult thing. I'm getting paper out. I'm theory crafting teams and looking at my roster and nope, he's got to go over there. And, these 2 people. And what's funny, one of the teams I keep using and everybody says, well, that's the dumbest looking team I ever seen on Twitter, but it always holds for me, multiple battles. If not, they can't get through it, is Mission and Zalbar with 3 Imperial Troopers. And I have, the 3 best Imperial Troopers, Veers, Stark, and Range. And I don't know what it is about that team. It's a hodgepodge. I get it. It's something I've thrown together that's trash, but I'm this is what I have. And I know that if the Imperial Troopers get going, they're really hard to beat. And so you need that stifle. So I put in, Zalbar and Mission as the stifle on that team. And it works every time. Every single time I watch them go 1, 2, 3, 4, or they either don't beat it or it takes them 2 or 3 attempts to beat. So you've got to get creative with your roster and look at things that you're this team is missing a piece. It would be good if. And then find that if in your roster and put it in there. So that way mediocre teams can become great teams on defense, even if they don't look or make sense. And actually, I'm happy it looks like a trash team to people because they underestimate it. And then I win because of that. So I love Grand Arena for that because I'm in that process of development. Some people I see have Darth Revans, some people I see don't. Some people I see don't even have Revan. Some people I see have 15 Gear 12s. Some have none. Some have Gear 13. Some have none. But all in all, we're really well balanced, well matched, and it's like a puzzle every time I go into Grand Arena to see what do they have, what do I have, what do I have to hold, what do I have to put on defense, and I play that puzzle out. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but it's the challenge of that. Now, to that end, that's probably the biggest disappointment in the game is the rewards for Grand Arena. I think the rewards for the time investment, time sink, is absolute trash. And I'm not trying to be derogatory. I'm just trash as in like worthless. The rewards are very worthless to me. I don't see for the amount of time, the amount of days, we're talking a month of playing virtually every day, multiple battles, win, lose, or draw, and even losers should still get something of note. And then people making an effort should be getting more than, a little bit of currency, enough to get 1 or 2 pieces of gear. Like that's trash. You should not play for a month and get a little bit of currency for like 1 mod and, enough currency to buy 1 piece of gear or pieces of a gear. It's something they need to look at. If this is their baby, I mean, look at territory battles. It's much shorter time investment. It's a team thing. You don't even have to, you can blend in and you don't even have to try as hard as you'd like, which, a lot of teams have those people that just kind of blend in. And then they get these massive rewards after 4 to 6 days. And in this, we're investing a whole month into this thing. And then we're getting pocket change. And they're like, I enjoy. And it's like, come on, dudes, if you want this to be your baby, crank those rewards up to look like territory battle rewards, and everybody will be happy with you and GAC, and they'll actually appreciate it. I don't mind the tiered system. Keep giving the little winners, the top dogs, give them more. Give people in the middle less, and give people at the bottom the least, but still make it worth the effort put in.
All right. Good old Maurice, what about you?
Oh, well, I guess it's Grand Arena. Like I mentioned earlier, I did atrocious offensively this time, and now I just sit here and await my fate for the next 5 hours. Just crossing my fingers, because a lot of people like to put the battles off, and a lot of times, especially when they're during the week, I don't really have that luxury, so I gotta get there and do what I can, and then I just have to check back just to see, just crossing my fingers. It's exciting to me. I do enjoy Grand Arena. War makes a very good point about the rewards. Rewards are pretty terrible, but I like seeing how my teams do, because I spend a significant amount of time modding my teams. Relics has me excited. I know I'm the minority there, but I'm excited for what Relics brings to the mod element of the game. I'm not excited about the next paywall, if you will, but I am excited how I can utilize my mods with Relics. I'm excited to see which Relics go with which characters. So that's exciting to me. I could care less about the new TB. I'm not a real big TB guy, but they gave us PvP players, Grand Arena. The PvE players get the territory battle, so it's all fun for everyone. So,
all right,
science.
Let's see. Next fun question is from Paparazzi. She says, does anyone have an awesome counters matrix that you can use for your guilds or yourself in Territory Wars and Grand Arena? I mean, we don't have a matrix. On the RSG Discord in the Star Wars area, there is a GA and Territory Wars references channel, and we put links in there from stuff people have developed. We don't have one of our own, but we try to collect stuff that other people have made, so you can go there and see. There's a bunch of images, for counters, and then there's also a website there, which I like. It's SWGOH.online-server.info, and you can find that there. But that's a pretty good site to give you ideas on counters.
All right.
Do you guys have anything publicly facing? I know, Warrior, you guys probably have something internal to TI. Anything public that you guys use?
For Territory Wars?
Yeah, Territory Wars and GA, just for counters and trying to figure out what to do.
No, this is kind of the saddest thing for me, honestly. With Territory Wars, we change everything so steeply each time. There's like an evolution each time, and they change stuff up. that we have to wait with bated anticipation for the new teams, and the teams are like different. You're like, wow, okay, we're really doing that. Okay, well, let's try it. Sometimes they work out well, sometimes they don't. So, but we try a lot of new things, and so Territory Wars is just a mishmash of like uniqueness that they're bringing to the table each time. And so there's no template. They've got some really great theory crafters that are like trying to like figure out all of that and bring it to the table at the last second. Normally we find out what teams we're doing and how we're building them, and like for the last season we did no Basti with Darth Revan, and it worked amazing, and it actually gave us Basti and an Emperor Palpatine team to like smoke on offense with a new team that way. So, but we're evolving away from that again, and so like it just moves so fast that what we were doing a month ago is now different already again. So that there's no template for, and I couldn't even pretend to try to help people out know what we're going towards. But you can look to the past to see what we've done and what's been successful or unsuccessful. As far as territory or Grand Arena, it's kind of it kind of sucks, to be honest, because we're all like the top 150, 250 whales. We're all kind of facing each other, so nobody really talks about Grand Arena because it's like, well, just good luck. We're talking about the whales of the whales. So we're like having to eat each other in Grand Arena, and because of that, they don't really want to put out these templates that help everybody, because we're just, whoever's putting that out is really giving away their like trade secret they think they have, or some proprietary thing. So there's really, honestly, I feel like there's not a whole lot of help when it comes to the Grand Arena. It's like good luck on your own. And so you kind of have to do your own theory crafting and figuring it out. And the reason is, like I said, the people I face, they're all going to be 5.7 mil GP. Well, who's that? Team Instinct, Maw. Those are the only two groups that have people that high, so yeah. I'm either facing the number 1 or number 2 guild in the world every single time practically. There's very few people intermittently in between that. So there's not as much help as you would think. So we kind of lean in on what we used in Territory Wars and then what we know, and we kind of make our own blend of that. And it comes down to, bottom line, what you're comfortable with on offense that you can win with. And, if you can't win against Darth Revan without a Darth Revan, then bottom line, you probably should keep a Darth Revan. But if you can beat Darth Revan with 2 teams or with a specific counter and you're successful with it, then leave your Darth Revan on defense, kind of thing. So you just got to do what's best for you when it comes to that.
All right.
All right. The last around the corn before we jump into the fun questions and burn through those. Paparazzi around the corn. What squads are you most nervous about facing in GAC? Mine's Darth Revan. Simple. Good old Maurice, the squads that you're most nervous about facing in GAC?
Well, it is now, after my last Grand Arena. It is currently Rex, 5s, Echo, R2, and Barris. That's my new nightmare. That team really, yikes.
All right.
I fought it once. I was just like, what the hell just happened? My whole team just decimated in 3 turns. It's like, wait a second. I gotta get something for this. I'm not having this happen again. That was awful. I think I recorded it. It was embarrassing. My opponent's in for a real treat when I show him that. So,
all right. And Warrior?
Sorry, say that again.
The team that you dread or most nervous about fighting in GAC.
Well, it's the only thing I ever have trouble with is Darth Revan teams ever. But I'm more comfortable with my approach on that. And I never dreaded anything but Darth Revan. But after this last Grand Arena, it's a full Gear 13 all offense Geo team. I have 5 losses now to that Geo team. I'm not going to win it, and he's on the front row, so I'm screwed. I can't do feats. I can't win. I can't nothing. I'm just screwed. And I started looking at his modding, and it's like 1,500 offense on everybody. I was like, no, that was smart. One fast character was it, and the rest is just all offense, all Gear 13. It's like, okay. I mean, my team was dead before I ever even got to take a turn. I never took a turn. And I had 3 tanks on there, and they got chewed through, and they did not lose all their protection or all their health. It was like 50-50 kind of thing. It was bad.
Wow.
All right.
Fun question time. So first one, Paparazzi, she kind of just put a PSA there. She said, and when you're setting clones on defense, 5s has to be in the 5th slot in order to trigger the unique. It's a bug right now. I didn't know that, so there you guys go. PSA from,
what?
5 has to be in the 5th slot on your team, otherwise his unique doesn't trigger. It's apparently a bug right now.
5 in the 5th.
So
I don't know about that. I don't know about that one.
She said it's a bug right now. I have no clue. I haven't seen it.
I'll test it out and see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope not. I placed it on defense and put him in the 5th slot, so I hope that's.
Well, that's what you get for placing it in the 4th when it should have gone the 5th.
Yeah.
Yep. Next one, Trash Gamer. Why do I always lose in GA? Because you get less banners than your opponent.
That's science.
Mm-hmm. Deadpool Kyle question: how is everyone doing this morning? How are the East Coasters doing? Good old Maurice, how are you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm good. It's sun's shining. I live pretty far inland. You know what I mean? So we didn't. I don't think we even got a drop of rain. We got some whipping winds the other day, but that was about it.
Yeah.
How about the hurricane?
I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. Yeah, we basically got nothing in.
No, I'm safe and sound on the inside, the western part of the state. So I'm a few hundred miles away from the coast. So.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Next question from NR Wilson. We'll give this one to Warrior. Says for the group, and I think Ranger, you can answer this too. For the group question, what's the largest animal you could fight and win?
Yikes!
A triceratops.
Yeah, I think that the largest animal I'd be willing to fight would probably be like a mountain lion, and I know how to protect my neck. I know I'd be stabbed with 1,000 knives over and over and over, but you would just have so much adrenaline you could ignore it, and I would choke that cat to death, and I would kill it, and it would latch on in an inappropriate fashion, trying to kill me, and they're determined to get to your neck. So I'd probably put my skull inside his head and get my arm around his neck, and then just squeeze until I heard cracking, and then it'd be over. And that's probably the biggest thing. Anything bigger than that would probably maul the hell out of me while I pointlessly swing my arms and die in a vicious, bloody mess. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know about you, good old Maurice. Mine is probably like a spider. That's pretty much it.
Well, there's nothing I could say. Anything I say,
it's not going to compare to a mountain lion. Yeah.
Yeah, not putting my skull in a mountain lion and then just I don't know. I'll probably go with a boa constrictor.
Oh, you're going snake. See, this is yeah. This is why I was like, Warrior and Ranger, maybe answer this, because I don't think I'm going to go anywhere.
Yeah, you guys stole all the man points from that question before we got to Finity, and I there's nothing left for us to have.
Well, I haven't fought a triceratops before, so I'd like to give it a shot.
Rubber Duck Mafia. Question for Warrior: what's the deal with this purple mattress with a name that generic? Can it be that good?
What's the deal?
I don't know about its version 2.0. I'm sure the version 2.0 is better than the 1.0 because they wouldn't have made a 2.0 if the 1.0 was sufficient. But the 1.0, I got to try it out myself because I actually think their ads are cool because they're funny. But funny doesn't equal quality, unfortunately, and I tried it and I smashed into the ground. It did not give me any support. So for me, it was sad because I was like, man, if there was any mattress I'd want to own outside of my mattress, it would be purple because they're so funny. But like I said, funny doesn't equal support, unfortunately. So, the 1.0 wasn't sufficient. And just for the record, I weigh over 250, you guys. I'm a big dude. I'm over 6 foot, over 250 pounds. So I need support, and it just didn't provide it. But
better be if you're
version 2.0. Yeah, but version 2.0, it might be the bee's knees, you guys.
I do want to try the egg test. I want to put a dozen eggs on a purple mattress and just get a running start, just stinger splash it from the corner of the room and see if they pop.
Right, because
rock bottom,
representation of spinal alignment and support, right?
I have a vision of good old Maurice doing that and all the eggs just flying up into the air and just cracking.
Well, we've all seen the ad on YouTube 300 times now where they drop
like the bowling ball from who knows where and nothing moves. Yeah. All right. Utah, next question. Do you need a hug from your non-sharing? I'm assuming that was when I was talking about I don't share my food. No, I don't need a hug. Just stay away from my plate. That's simple.
Finn lies. He's given me food before.
Yeah, but I give you food, but not my food. There's separate food I will give you.
Mm-hmm. He's lying.
Yeah. Once I start touching
we shared fries. He's lying.
Well, fries are different. You can't ask me for a piece of my lobster. Somebody did that, and my friend said I was going to kill the person that asked me. I'm like, if I order lobster, you're not getting a piece of my lobster. Get your own friggin' thing. What else? 73 question: where do we get Ahsoka tacos? Because that sounds really good, as long as they aren't using Ahsoka as an ingredient. Tijuana Flats.
Yeah.
Best tacos. Probably Tijuana Flats if you're looking for anywhere.
You guys are lucky you still have those. Those are dropping like flies here.
Yeah,
I don't think we have any left.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. I liked it. I like that place.
That's what happens when you use Ahsoka Tano as sharing ingredients.
Chicken Gaming question: how come you guys are so awesome? Good morning. Well, we have Warrior that can find mountain lions and Ranger that fights Triceratops.
I mean, we jump out of planes, find a critter, and go at it.
That's pretty much it. And then good old Maurice and I will stand back while he fights a snake and I fight a spider. Okay.
We get done with our battles. We're all bloodied and stuff. We're over there, Finn. He's just sitting there with like a stick, like, no!
My foot hurts from stomping that spider.
You need to stop it.
My battle in 10 seconds. Yeah. God! It's gone.
Finn's in there breathing heavily. He's like, I got it, guys. We're all bleeding and stuff. But I killed that spider.
I did.
And then we killed Finn.
Jao Cavalcanti question: when is Warrior going to release his video on the Negotiator?
He's not the fire starter. He's just the Negotiator.
Well, in a couple of days, and I think we get currency on the first day, so probably within the week I'll probably try and do some videos. But I don't, like I said, I don't think we have enough of the pieces, and I don't think it's viable enough at 5 stars. To compete, you got to have the same speed as Admiral Akbar's ship, or be faster, and so you really need it 7 stars and max. And then you'll get to that tied speed, unless, of course, they take theirs to Gear 13, and then, of course, they'll have 1 speed on you still. But you can't even get to that speed level and compete with the speed without that. I do think there's a couple of pieces missing as well. So,
all right.
Next question, good old Marie's question. Why did good old Maurice draft Antonio Brown? As a Steelers fan, I can tell you the reason. His off-the-field issues really never had an impact on the field, which is why you probably drafted him. Something is wrong with him. I'll just be flat out honest with you. There's something wrong with him. I feel like there's CTE or something going on with him because his actions are completely ridiculous since he went to Oakland. They're just off the wall. So that's probably why you drafted him, because it's never affected his on the field, but that's why, Grim, or for good old Maurice. And Grim is sleeping. What else, 73? So if it makes you feel better, Ranger, I just rolled up a crit damage cross with potency primary and speed secondary. It rolled tenacity 4 times in a row for 8.86% tenacity. Depression Saturday.
That makes me depressed for you. Good Lord.
Hey, you slice it. That's a keeper, boy. You got yourself a nice tenacity cross.
Yeah, I need potency. Oh, it's got tenacity too. Woo!
A question from good old Maurice: Finity, true or false? You bought that shirt with super cash.
That's true.
So the answer actually is no. This shirt was actually bought from Old Navy when it first opened years ago.
So there was actually next to Britches in the mall.
Yeah. It was actually like it just had opened and everything was super cheap. Go Old Navy is now more expensive than it was ever since it like really started to attach itself to Gap and all of that. But before that, it was a lot cheaper. So I actually got like 2 of these, and actually the color has stayed pretty well on this shirt. So I'm actually really happy with it because it's fairly old. Okay. Utah question: will the kids at the live stream be able to see us? They'll be able to see the chat. Yeah. They'll be able to see who we have in the Zoom call when we're running all that. And by the way, Warrior and good old Maurice, you guys are welcome to join us during the thing. I know it's kind of in the middle of the day, but if you guys are available, you're welcome to join us on the call and say hi to the kids and all of that. But yes, they'll be able to see the chat and anyone that's in the chat and the Zoom call. Durgan, question for good old Maurice. Are the chances of the Gamecocks going to the bowl now going to a bowl game now in jeopardy after losing their first game and QB?
Well, we do have Vanderbilt, Charleston Southern, and what's the other? Oh, Tennessee. We still got them on the roster, so we're halfway there. We still got them on the schedule. There's 3 wins, so all we need is 3 more for the rest of the season.
Good luck.
We can always beat Alabama.
oh, good old Maurice. You joker, you. McJoker. All right, next question.
Rubber Duck, two more, and then Rubber Duck Mafia. If and when the Negotiator and Galactic Republic ships become the fleet meta, will Finity and his Gear 13 Jedi Consular have the last laugh?
No.
Yes, just like Warrior and the Geos do right now.
No.
And then Grim for the panel. Are there any new games coming out, be it mobile, PC, or console, that you guys are excited about?
Lego Star Wars.
Yeah, Lego Star Wars looks really fun. Girl Maurice, anything for you?
Pass.
Okay. Warrior.
I looked. Carry on. I didn't hear the question. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Games that you're looking forward to that are coming out soon.
Oh, not really. I don't really play too many of the console games or mobile games. I mean, I'd play Star Wars in one of the mobile games, and I just pretty much play Fallout on PlayStation and a little bit of Destiny. That's about it.
Yeah. Warrior, any games that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, the new Jedi game that's single player. I like any kind of a journey style game where you're in a open world environment and you get to go through and do missions all by your lonesome. I'm not a huge fan of online playing against other people like Call of Duty and things like that. Just not a huge fan of those. So I think it'll be a fun game.
Yep, and I'm looking forward to that game. And next Friday, I actually have the day off, and I'm going to be playing Borderlands 3. It just came out, so I'll be streaming that basically as soon as I get it downloaded, because they're letting us to preload the download now. So I'll download it on Thursday, and then on Friday it'll be a long day of Borderlands 3 streaming.
Did you see where you can get trap in Fortnite now? They have like a Borderlands pack.
I saw that.
I was like, what is this? I thought a new Borderlands was coming out. I was like, oh.
Nope. Just claptrap in Fortnite.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
All right, and that is it for the fun questions.
All right, so if you guys are watching this is the Jedi Academy. You do this every Saturday from 10 to 12 p.m. Where we answer your questions. This is the time where we let our good friends pimp their stuff. Warrior, where can folks check you out at?
You can check me out on my Warrior Presents channel. You can also look at Warrior's roster reviews. I still do roster reviews.
Nice.
And trying to start to incorporate the Grand Arena Championships on my Scissorman account. I think they have a little bit more, there'll be a little bit more fun with those, so it'll make for a more fun stream. My last one I just did a couple days ago was a super amount of fun, so if you haven't seen that, go check it out. And you can also chat with me every day on Twitter. I'm on Twitter. I do updates from the Scissorman account daily on Twitter, as well as on the Facebook page, which you guys are on as well. Pretty huge group of people, 60,000 people on there, so it's a great spot for people to communicate and all that.
All right, good on Maurice. What are you up to these days, my friend?
The same thing as usual. One half of Operation Metaverse.
Yeah, showing late to every stream. Fail.
Well, I was technically here on time today. I was just in the car. I didn't get set up on my computer for a few minutes.
No, I'm talking about Operation Metaverse.
Well, yes, I'm one half of Operation Metaverse. We are occasionally guilty of being tardy, but our stream starts on Tuesdays. I believe we permanently moved it to 10 o'clock p.m.-ish. And then also...
The ish stands for T-Money.
No fingers being pointed. And then I'm also with Ramona Zob, who we do a stream on Sundays at 11 p.m.-ish. So sometimes
what's up with that? Good old Maurice.
Good old Maurice needs to learn some tech stuff. He really needs to get something going there to help out. I'm not pitching it enough. But yes, those two streams, a lot of fun. Ranger joins us damn near every time. We did miss last week for the Labor Day.
Yeah.
We'll be back this Sunday, tomorrow. So should be a good show. Lots of stuff to talk about. So.
All right. And then if you're watching this, you're watching, of course, the Jedi Academy on RSG. We do a lot of live streaming. You can check out all our content. Do me a favor, guys. Give us a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And also, if you haven't, go and do me a favor. These guys and gals come on this channel to answer all your questions. And if you want, please go support their content. It does help them out with their algorithms with YouTube and stuff. So if you could go watch some of their stuff, give them a thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're one big community. We got to support one another. So we are getting ready to flip over and get ready to do GAC. Go to Maurice, you're going to be able to join us, or you got stuff to do, like go to the Nanner store or something?
I'm just kind of hanging out today. So
okay, cool. All right, so we'll give us about 20 minutes. We'll start that at the bottom of the hour here. And we'll get that started, and we'll see if Good Maurice can screw me up. So we're going to flip over that, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll be back tonight to play Pictionary. If you've not played Pictionary, you've got to. It's the stupidest thing ever.
That was a lot of fun last week. I popped in.
Yeah, it's so stupid, man. All right, so give us 20 minutes, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll go do my GAC next round. And from there, we'll catch you guys on the flip side. So on behalf of myself and the panel, thank you guys so much for being here today. Check out all this other great content. And with that, we're going to sign off, and we'll see you on the flip side. Peace.